Before the Cybertruck came out, there were a number of people, including one, who bet me $1,000 that full self-driving would be released at the same time as the Cybertruck was first delivered at the end of November or beginning of December, depending on how you want to look at that. Well, in retrospect, I was obviously right. Elon Musk has weighed in and given one reason for the delay, but I have several others. So let's take a look. Hey y'all, it's Dr. Know-It-All. We're going to talk Cybertruck versus full self-driving version 12, and also maybe get into a little bit about full self-driving version 12 and other vehicles and the reason why these things take a little while. But first off, as I said in the intro, someone wanted to bet me $1,000 that the Cybertruck would have full self-driving within 2 weeks of release. Obviously, it's been a month now, and that has not happened, so I would have won. Why did I not take the bet? I didn't take the bet because, as I've said many, many times on this channel, I am, extremely conservative when it comes to financial decisions, and even if I'm 99.9% sure that I will be correct, which I was, I don't like to take chances with my money, which is the reason why you will not see me at the gambling table in Las Vegas. I simply do not like to do that stuff with my money. I don't know why. It's just a personal thing, probably ultimately for the best. But on the negative side, it does mean I'm conservative with investing in companies and such, even when I see that they're probably going to take off and become amazing companies over time, including companies like Tesla. So that's why I am not a financial analyst or anyone that people should take my opinion on too seriously about investing, because even when I see a fantastic company that I think will do well, I tend to be very conservative and not invest the kind of money that I should in order to make myself very wealthy in the future. But enough about my personal hangups. What about the Cybertruck and full self-driving? On that topic, let's start a couple of days ago with a tweet from Chuck Cook that Elon Musk responded to. Chuck said, "Elon, we're eager to know the timeline for the Cybertruck getting FSD beta. Is it dependent on the public release of version 12, full self-driving version 12, or are there specific training issues with hardware 4 on the Cybertruck that necessitate a separate training and model? We'd love to learn more." To which Elon responded, "Cybertruck is necessarily lowest priority for full self-driving as there are only a few hundred Cybertrucks in the field compared to about 5 million other Teslas." So as Elon said, the number one reason the Cybertruck doesn't have full self-driving right now is it's just not a priority. You're going to prioritize a vehicle like the Model Y that has like 2.5 million cars on the road right now. That is obviously the low-hanging fruit. That's the one you want to focus on because you're going to get the most bang for your buck by focusing your efforts to create full self-driving and to fine-tune it for a platform where there are a lot of vehicles rather than a couple hundred vehicles on the road right now. But at least in my opinion, that's only one of several reasons why it has been delayed and why it's necessarily going to be delayed for some time. Hey y'all, it's the new year, and along with that come long nights and cold days. Add to that the disruptions that come with a new year and all that delicious but unhealthy comfort food it's great to eat when it's cold outside, and this time of year can take a real toll on your body and your mind. They certainly did for me. That is until I started taking AG1, the sponsor of today's video. AG1 is foundational nutrition that provides your body with what you might be missing during the holidays, winter months, and all year long. AG1 is a science-driven formulation with 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, prebiotics, probiotics, and adaptogens. So AG1 gives you the foundational nutrition your body craves, especially during the disruptive winter season. And as a bonus, it tastes great with a hint of pineapple. This year, why not make the best New Year's resolution you can for your body and start a new, effortless, healthy habit for the new year? I started drinking AG1 about a year ago, and I have really noticed how much it's helped me. It's one daily routine I won't change. Lately, I've been drinking AG1 in the mornings, and it gives me all-day energy without that caffeine crash that coffee can have. It helps me get the right mix of vitamins and minerals that I might not be getting with all the comfort food I love to eat when it's cold out, and the probiotics and prebiotics help my digestive system stay regular no matter what I throw at it this time of year. If you click my link in the description, you'll save $20 off your subscription and get 5 free travel packs, which are perfect for any trips you might need to take, plus a year's supply of vitamins D3 and K2. I promise you this and a gym membership will be the best New Year's resolution you can make for your better health. Thanks to AG1 for sponsoring today's video, and thank you for watching. Be sure to click my link to get your first month's supply of AG1, and now let's get back to it. The first other reason is that the Cybertruck is substantially different in shape than the other Tesla vehicles that are out there right now. I'm not counting the semi-truck because that also doesn't have full self-driving right now, and that's also substantially different. But the Cybertruck is much, much larger. The cameras are therefore in different places around the vehicle. The vehicle itself takes up much more space in terms of physical space when it's driving. So that means that all of the training data from the models S, 3, X, and Y vehicles don't perfectly apply to the Cybertruck. Now, I'm not saying they don't apply at all, but I'm saying that they are substantially different, so it's not a perfect one-to-one comparison. You could say that something like the Model 3 and the Model Y are pretty similar in shape, and so therefore you could use more or less one fine-tuned set of neural networks to do both of them. I don't believe that's how Tesla works. I think they actually probably have a different fork for each of the 4 vehicles. The Cybertruck, on the other hand, is substantially larger and different shape, as I said, and therefore it's going to require its own fork of the neural networks to get to full self-driving capabilities. And just to point this out specifically, I'm not talking about an entire new neural network architecture from the ground up. I'm talking about the same one, but just sort of copy and pasted and then adjusted after that fact. I think some people, when I've talked to them on X or in person, have felt like I was arguing that the Cybertruck needed its own entire new stack. That's not true at all. It's going to use the same architecture as these other vehicles, just like the semi-truck will probably use the same architecture as well, with probably a few additions and things for the fact that it's carrying trailers and stuff. And by the way, the Cybertruck is one vehicle that will be likely to carry trailers, as opposed to the other vehicles like the Model Y, which does have a tow hitch, but it's very unlikely. I don't see very many Model Ys driving around town with carrying trailers. So that's not something that you really need to train for very often there. But with a Cybertruck, they very often will carry trailers. I'm not saying when the full self-driving stack for Cybertruck plus trailer will come out, but that's going to require its own, separate stack as well. But anyway, all of these stacks are more or less the same at the ground level, but they're just sort of copy pasted and then adjusted later. And speaking of that neural network and code stack, obviously the Cybertruck is going to go with version 12 of the software. This is another big reason for the delay, because none of us, except for employees of the company, currently have version 12 of the software. But there would be no reason to develop the Cybertruck specific fork for version 11, because 11 is being sunsetted as fast as Tesla can get to version 12. And if you don't know, version 12 of the software is that end-to-end, the much anticipated network stack that goes from photons in to controls out. Now, some people have argued that they think that that's going to be one monolithic network. I don't believe that that's what Elon or any of the engineers have said. I believe that what they're talking about by end-to-end is that it's a bunch of neural networks that are stacked together, but there's a little bit of hard code in between to pass the data in between these stacks. But to try to make this one monolithic network, it would be absolutely massive, and it would be really difficult to freeze portions of the neural network, stack in order to do training on other networks. So I have a feeling that they've probably got them modularized with a tiny bit of code that connects them all, but it's end-to-end in the sense that the hard coding, the traditional sort of coding, is just something that's like, take this and move it over here, now start working on the next neural network stack. I don't believe anyone has argued that this thing is one gigantic network stack that only goes from end to end with no little bits of code in between. So anyway, that's my judgment on what's been going on and what I think is happening at Tesla. So when they say end-to-end neural network, what they really mean, I believe, and I could be wrong about this, is they're talking about end-to-end, a bunch of modular networks that the data gets passed through to go from photons in to controls out, but not that it's one gigantic end-to-end thing that's just completely monolithic. I think that would just be too difficult to train and to control. So anyway, that's my 2 cents. The next reason why I believe that full self-driving is going to be delayed for a good while is data collection. And that is when you have this new fork, when you have to retrain everything, you need data to do that fine tuning and retraining on. And where are you going to get that? You can get some of it from simulations, obviously, so they can create as many billions of arbitrary virtual miles as they want driving the Cybertruck around. But of course, that's not a replacement for some real world data. I would guess somewhere on the order of 1 million miles of people driving Cybertrucks, but also in different environments and stuff like that too. So the Cybertruck not only has to come out and be delivered to people, but it has to be delivered around North America so that they can get different weather conditions, different driving conditions, different road rules, all of that kind of stuff. And then of course, people have to drive the vehicle enough to get to something on the order of 1 million plus miles of driving data before they even have the necessary amount of data to begin the process of fine-tuning specifically for the Cybertruck. And of course, once you have that data, then you have to take the time, the human time and the compute time, to put that all together, to organize the data flow, to organize the pipeline, to curate that data, and then to feed that into the training computers to fine tune the network for the Cybertruck. And all of that takes resources. It takes human resources to do all of that lead up work and everything. And it takes compute resources to do all of that fine tuning training. And all of those things are in short supply at Tesla right now. Elon is always mentioning that Tesla is compute constrained. They don't have enough compute time. They're also human constrained, right? There's only so many hours that these engineers can work. There's only so many engineers. So there's only so far you can spread both the human and computer time out in order to do that training. And right now they don't even have the data, I don't think, to do the fine tuning. But once they get that data, it's going to take a period of time before they have the resources allocated to be able to do all the data curation and the data loading and the fine tuning training and all of that kind of stuff. That's going to take a period of time. And then, of course, let's not forget the quality assurance testing, the QA testing that has to happen after you do this initial training. So if you recall back in August, I think it was August 25th or 26th, something like that, of 2023, Elon and Ashok did a version 12 software drive around the Palo Alto area. So that software has been around since then and actually was around before that. It was apparently around in early summer, but it's only recently it's gone out to a larger group of employees and it still hasn't gone out to any consumers yet. So we're talking about, 4 or 5 months of lead time between these major new versions of software and getting the software in consumers' hands. Now, will it take that long for the Cybertruck version once we get version 12 of the other software? No. The lead time is probably going to be shrunk to a month or two once they actually do the training and everything to get the quality assurance and all of that kind of stuff. And now that I think about it, maybe more like 2 to 3 months to do the QA testing, because again, even though it's version 12 of the software, and even though that's going to be out for us consumers, hopefully sometime in January, the Cybertruck is its own beast, quite literally, beast mode and everything. And so it's going to take some time for Tesla to be very, very sure that the software works as well on the Cybertruck as it does on the other vehicles. So those are the main reasons that full self-driving in the Cybertruck has been delayed and will be delayed for several months going forward. But I'm sure you all want me to predict when full self-driving actually will come to the Cybertruck. So for a couple of reasons, this is a little bit on the difficult side to predict. The first big reason is how many Cybertrucks is Tesla going to produce going forward in the next several months. If they suddenly ramped up and they were selling 5,000 per week or something like that, that's not going to happen. But I'm just saying, if they were suddenly selling that many vehicles per week and they'd ramped up their production level to that amount, then it could happen relatively quickly because they're going to get a lot more trucks on the road, which will motivate them because of course there's more trucks on the road, but also give them more data to fine tune and train on. More likely though, with the numbers that it looks like Tesla is going to produce, it will probably be April before they'll even have enough data to begin to do the fine tuning training on. And then assuming version 12 of the software is going well for the other vehicles and they have enough human time and compute resources to actually devote to this, we might be looking at sometime in April or May for Tesla to actually devote the time to do the fine tuning for the Cybertruck. And then we could be looking at 2 to 3 months for quality assurance. So we're probably looking at somewhere around August, maybe late July, maybe early August for full self-driving on the Cybertruck to first make an appearance for us consumers. And this of course is with the caveat that I always have a pretty substantial optimism bias. So it could actually be a year from now before we see full self-driving beta on the Cybertruck itself. So those are my thoughts. What do you all think? If you own a Cybertruck, let me know your thoughts because you might be very disappointed to hear it could be 8 months to a year before you'll see full self-driving on it, when I know most people paid for full self-driving when they got the Cybertruck because it was only $7,000 back then, which was a great deal. But anyway, let me know what you think. Am I being too optimistic, too pessimistic? Do you think it's going to come out earlier than that? Will we see full self-driving in March rather than August like I'm predicting, or will it even be later than December of next year? As for me, of course, one of the reasons why I haven't been that disappointed that I haven't gotten a Cybertruck yet, and it won't be for quite a while, is because I knew that full self-driving was not going to come out for quite a while for the Cybertruck. And I really don't want to go back to vehicles that don't have full self-driving, so I don't mind if it takes me another year or 18 months to get my Cybertruck order put up to the front of the line and be able to order it, because by then full self-driving should be pretty well working on the Cybertruck, and I will be able to get it from day one and utilize it from day one. All right, so that's that's what I got for you. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please do like it so other people can find it. And of course, consider subscribing for more of this kind of content. As always, a huge shout out to my patrons on Patreon, my YouTube channel members, and of course, my ex-subscribers. Thank you all so much for supporting the channel in any way that you can. And of course, if you want to join any of the teams, just check out the links in the description. And if you're interested in a whole bunch of really cool merch, check out our merch store. Link is in the description. We have Tesla Bot t-shirts, the Tesla meme t-shirt, success is a possible outcome, 4680 battery cells. All of that stuff is on t-shirts, mugs, tumblers, and on and on. So check it out. And finally, a big thanks once again to AG1 for sponsoring today's video. Be sure to check out my link in the description and get your 5 free travel packs, your year's supply of vitamin D3 and K2, and start 2024 off in a healthy manner. In the meantime, I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.